you're a former WBC super welterweight champ. You've had major fights in your career. You were a fan favorite coming out of the Contender, and you, I would assume, really fed off the fans and the applause and the audience and such. I mean, did you ever imagine what it would be like to have big televised fights with no one there?
Never. And I thought my situation on the Contender was weird because we only fought in front of production and a production family, and we were allowed to have five family members on a Contender fight. So we only had about 100, 150 at the max, very small, and that felt weird. I never imagined to fight in front of no crowds, man. I mean, this is just something that's unprecedented, and it's gonna be weird. I'm not gonna lie. I can't tell you that it's gonna be something I'm looking forward to, but I'm gonna have to adapt and evolve like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, this is some inside baseball stuff, but I'm also wondering, like, when we start talking about big payday fighters, like, since so much is dependent on live gate and not just TV deals and pay-per-views and stuff, how will payments happen? Is everyone going to be looking at a big pay cut, do you think?
Well, there's going to be two choices. Either you fight for less money or you're going to be inactive and on the shelf. And right now, the initial, I guess, consensus is, big fighters are going to be shelved. I mean, the only one that's really stepping up and saying he's going to do it is Canelo.
Yeah.
But Canelo's missing an opponent because the opponents are demanding more money. So, yeah, it's either you get shelved or you want to fight. I think the only one that's leading by example right now is Canelo Alvarez. God bless him. But hopefully, the rest of the pound for pound fighters on the list and the top fighters, follow suit.
Yeah, because you had tweeted this. I saw this on your account. What a time to stay ready if you're a fighter. Pandemic opponents are one phone call away from career high paydays. It's just the idea that guys like Canelo and, even Triple G sort of talked about fighting a little bit. I mean, the fact that they won't be able to find their payday probably. But as far as smaller fights, I guess you're right. Like dudes that have been prepped to be in this position for a long time, if they feel safe, if they feel ready to take a payday that's big for them but low for some superstars, well, then they're ready to go.
Usually it's these B side opponents that get they get good fights for about 50,000. If they get a really good fight against an A opponent, they might hit six figures.
Yeah.
During this time, if you're going to be fighting a Golovkin, a Canelo, or a top fighter, a Demetrius Andrade, or any champion with a belt, I mean, if you're going to get a phone call within a 2-week notice and you're in shape, you're going to get a six-figure check.
Right.
So it's a hell of a time to be an opponent. I would be working out every day waiting for a phone call, and if I was on social media tweeting about it, do exactly what Andy Ruiz did.
Yeah.
Be Instagramming messages and direct messaging Eddie Hearn and direct message every promoter, say I'm ready, willing, and able, I'm in shape, blah blah blah, whatever. But yes.
Yeah, that's another question to bring up is DAZN now has 3 events in 5 weeks. Excited to see all of those. Do you expect these guys after quarantine and everything we've been through to be in shape? We're going to see sort of the heavy breathing. Are we going to see the boxers we're used to or no?
Well, look, the boxers are going to tell you they're in shape. And as a boxer myself, I hate saying former boxer, but as a boxer myself, we're gonna talk the talk, and then when we get in there, we're gonna have excuses later. That's just the way it is.
Right.
If we're not sharp, become fight night afterwards, we'll say, well, we're gonna use the pandemic as an excuse. But if we look sharp, get a knockout, yeah, man, I've been training, I've been in the backyard, I've been doing my thing. We'll keep that bravado. So it all depends on how good the performance was. That's just how fighters are.